Batman Catwoman issue 8, Tom King with Liam Sharp on the art in this one because Clayman couldn't keep up, and maybe he'll be back for the last couple. I don't know at this point, but here we are.
Wait, there wasn't 4 different artists on this book?
Maybe there was another one. Hold on.
No, there wasn't. It's just Liam Sharp, Pete.
But it's just Liam Sharp. Okay.
His art, and this is, I'm sure, on purpose, is all over the damn place.
I mean, I think he's probably trying to have the, because there's the three timelines at play, and I'm sure he's trying to make each one feel very different.
And then you get to the end, and you feel like you know which timeline's which, and then the art changes again.
Yeah, I think the weird thing about this issue is you've got the 3 timelines, but you have actually, like, one of the timelines actually goes out of order briefly.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really a weird choice, because you've had this, like, timeline structure for the whole thing, where we've been doing these 3 timelines, and which is hard enough to follow, you know, month to month, and then on top of that there's been delays where you have to kind of keep track of where each of the 3 stories are, and I don't always remember, right? Because sometimes it's like, you know, I'll read a few pages and I'm like, okay, I'm back into where this story was, but it's not something that comes to me as quickly as maybe when it's just one story I'm following in a book. But yeah, so we have the present day. I mean, when I say present, I just mean the middle tier, basically, of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if this is a Christmas Carol, right? It's past, present, and future.
Yeah, but it was just
this is the present.
This is what I'm getting at. So this is Phantasm and Joker working together to come and see this guy. And it turns out to do with a kid. Now, did we know that her son seemingly isn't actually her birth son? Was that something?
No.
Yeah, that's new.
That's a new twist.
That confused me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't sure if I just didn't remember some big detail or if this was just a new detail.
Did she kidnap him? Did she buy him from the family?
I would suspect maybe it wasn't her, but it was her family, because you know her. Yeah. You know, her father and all that, from what I remember from the movie. So
right.
But yeah, so and we see in the future, Helena, Batwoman, you know, meets Commissioner Dick, and they're talking about stuff, and then we see the past, which is Batman chasing Catwoman and demanding to know where Joker is, and all these bad things are happening. I think what this issue did kind of weird for me, where I'm starting to feel the characterization feel a little bit wonky, is that it's really kind of going out of its way to make Selina like be more of an outright villain, at least to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting. But the present day stuff, this is where I was talking about how it jumps ahead, because it goes back to like Joker and Phantasm talking to the family, but we actually jump ahead to the father of the family, who's the only one left, standing on the edge of a bridge, and Batman and Catwoman come up to him, and Joker's basically left him there with his throat slit, but alive enough to deliver a message, which is just to tell him a joke. You know, what did Santa do when he fell down the chimney and landed on his head? He went, oh, 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 you know, so it's ho, ho, ho backwards, basically.
Right.
And then he falls to his death, and Selina just kind of yawns as Batman jumps to try and save him, and it doesn't work. And old woman Selina's like going to see the Joker's body because Dick's had it brought to Gotham. And like, yeah, so there's all these things going on, and I have at times quite enjoyed a lot of what this book has done. I thought this issue in particular though was a little bit on the messier side, and the characterization was feeling a little bit more mean-spirited, and I wasn't really sure what to take from it.
That's not the dad.
Is it not?
No, the dad has dark hair and a dark beard. This guy is a ginger.
All right.
Because you kind of confused me on that, because I read this, one of the first things I read.
I'll be honest, I saw that.
It's not the dead, but it's the glasses.
Well, it's the glasses and the goatee. Like I saw the goatee and the glasses, and I thought it was the same dude.
Yeah. And also, Selina's dressed in the animated series, so that's in the past.
Was that in the past? Oh,
that's in the past, because she's in the gray suit.
Well, here we go. Case in point, I confused this entire scene as being the wrong timeline.
Yeah. Well, that's when you said it at the timeline. I was like, did I miss something? Where you said it kind of jumped around? Because he has been a little bit cleaner. But I put that on Sharp's art because it's not as clear. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's trying different things out. Like, he's experimenting here. Because I would never say the art's bad. It's just, it feels off in places. like that one right there. Like that art doesn't seem to match the other past art, you know. So anyway,
Yeah. So basically, Phantasm demands to know, like, because this because they've got a little boy, and like this son's not your first child, and like the mum's like, how did you know that? And basically, it sounds like their baby just went missing at the hospital, right? Which makes you think that someone got paid to like steal a baby, to give to Andrea, and basically once this is revealed and sort of admitted to a certain point, you basically Phantasm takes off her mask, says who she is, and says, like, basically says she knew, like, your brother, right? My son was your brother, or your brother was my son, or something to that effect. And Joker then immediately kills her, right? Towards the end of the issue, he just strangles Phantasm and kills her.
Well,
and
he's strangling her. I'm sure she's gonna be able to fight, but she is the Phantasm.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah, true. She's not technically dead yet. She's still struggling when they get the cliffhanger. That's true.
Yeah.
So this turn of events was kind of weird because like the end of the last issue, which I don't remember all that well, admittedly. I remember Phantasm agreeing to do something with the Joker, but I couldn't really remember what. So I was kind of murky as to what they were here for, like the entire time. And then I didn't realize that the baby came from somewhere else. So I was like, oh, wait, what? So I had kind of just a confusing experience reading that story, where I never really felt solidified. Obviously, there's the tie-in in the future. Basically, there's a crime scene, a tree, where the Joker's body parts have been put all up this Christmas tree. And there was a note found at the scene that just said, oh, which references back to the joke. So clearly, this is old lady Selina who's done this.
Yeah.
So
she's about snapped. Also, does Helena calls Dick Uncle Dick, which does not ring true to me, because that wouldn't be Bruce's brother. That's like her brother.
I kind of get it in the sense that Dick's already an adult before she's even born. So
I think it's more just like how some people have like family friends that are like
uncles, or even
but I just
if your age age difference with a cousin is big enough, you might refer to them as an uncle or an auntie because they're already an adult, so you just kind of think of them that way rather than cousins.
You would just think that that with the amount of times Bruce has called Dick his son, they would have more of a older brother, younger sister versus uncle. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't know. It's just that one little thing.
I'm obviously not reading this. I'm not 100% on the timeline, but I would assume that Dick is like almost old enough to be the father himself rather than a brother, right?
Yeah, that's an age thing for sure.
Like I don't know, like if there's a big age difference in brothers and sisters, like that's still your dad's other kid. And it's just a weird thing for me. Like it doesn't matter at all. It was just her just throwing that out there, calling him Uncle Dick. And him, I did like that he has Gordon's pipe, and he talked about how Gordon was smoking up to his deathbed, and then when they see the stuff in the tree, he goes, "Okay, can I have my pipe back now?" Because Helena took it from him.
Do you know what I think's frustrated me about this series a little bit with this issue in particular is that I feel like with the other great Tom King books that we've been dissecting, with Rorschach and Strange Adventures, is that there was a sense of, okay, we know what the clear themes of this story are, and we have a sense of we don't necessarily know what the outcome is, but we have a sense of like what questions are going to be asked as we go into the climax and stuff. And particularly with the future stuff with Selina, who seems to just be going insane. I don't know, her putting on this display with Joker's body is just like complete like psychopath levels, and I'm like, is this going to be another one like almost Heroes in Crisis where I'm just going to be annoyed that, and it doesn't really matter because it's like out of continuity, so it's not like a big deal, but is it just going to be like this unsatisfying story about her going nuts? Is that the point of this? And if it is the point of this, I don't know if this story up until this point has set me up for that, if that is where it's going.
Because she doesn't have any vibe with that from where we've seen her up until now.
Yeah, but because the stuff in the flashback, like, like the early timeline, everything up until now, yeah, she was this kind of villain character who was starting to question like being around characters like the Joker, and a lot of the later timelines was her thinking back in that and thinking about the world she used to be in, and before she kind of went more with Batman and turned over a bit of a new leaf. And I felt like this issue, she was acting far more like a sociopath, and those like, because she gets really mad at Batman in this issue. She's like, "Oh, you just want to know where the Joker is," and Batman's like, "He's literally killing people. He's going to poison children. Like, give me some information so I can help." And she's like, I'm just a tool. I'm just your cat. I'm your bat cat. I mean, that line was a bit awkward as well, actually.
Big time.
I was not a fan of that, but it just kind of felt like she's actively being kind of like nonchalant about the people she hangs around, and then she goes to Joker and gets drunk, and she's like, he's always complaining about me hanging around with you and you killing a bunch of people, and like, why is she so like sociopathic?
Why does she want to hang out with the Joker?
Yeah,
that's the main question.
Like, early on in the series, I feel like it was examining the fact that she did hang around with the Joker and like what that's done to her mentally, and maybe that's still part of it, but now it's starting to feel like they're really painting her in a much worse light than she was before.
Because you see in the pages that when Joker's putting on the Santa suit, his eyes have these weird red like spirals to them. And it's almost like she's seeing him differently, and the art changes, and it's another one of those things. But I don't know what that's trying to say with that. This is issue 8 out of 12. This is the second act break. And it feels
like,
unfulfilling if the second act break. If
this is the point in the story where, like, in the past, Selina is going to really start to sort of like question that she's around the Joker, that'd be fine. But that's not what the flashback story or the past timeline in this issue didn't accomplish that for me. The past in this timeline in this issue accomplished me thinking Selina's a sociopath. Like, it made her unlikable in this issue. So I'm not sure where this is going exactly. And maybe this will all click together. It's possible it might. I mean, if the whole point of it is to examine the idea that Joker has been in her head, and it's kind of almost like a longer, drawn-out Harley Quinn thing. We're not just she falls in love with him, but more that being around the Joker has caused her to go kind of insane. Like,
madness. Yeah,
there's something to that. I don't think that's a bad idea, but it's a bit murky at this point in the story. So, I'm curious to see what they do next with this. But this was definitely one of the weaker issues for this.
Definitely.
Maybe even probably the weakest thus far, because this is the only one that I've come out at the end going, you know what, they've not all been like blow away hits by any means, but this is the first one where I came out of it going, I think I just kind of was annoyed by that as opposed to liking it. What are you rating this, Matt?
This is a 6.
Yeah, I'll say 6. Well, yeah, I'll say 6.